Hello, everybody. How are you doing? My name is Christian Lee. I think maybe you saw me from the previous class, but if you didn't take my class about what is the hermeneutics, biblical hermeneutics, maybe this is the first time. And let me introduce myself. And uh, I came here about 25 years ago, and from Korea. So I'm Korean American, and then I have two daughters. Yeah, they graduate from colleges, and they are in graduate school now, and they are away from home. And I'm a PhD candidate, so I'm still studying like you guys, and but I'm at the last stage of my dissertation, but still struggle with. So last week I talked to my advisor, another advisor. He said, "Oh, you gotta modify this one. You gotta work on this one." Yeah, it's not easy, but still going on now. So um, this time I'm gonna teach about history, global history. I never studied. I didn't major in history, and I didn't know much about history. But the global history is kind of strange to me. So I never heard, and I heard about the world history, but not global history. So I tried to look it up. What is global history? Yeah, a little bit different from the world history. So maybe we can see what it's about and what we're gonna do in this class. And yeah, let me give you some course description. Um, let's see. Here. This class explores a brief history of a Christian mission in order to understand how Christianity is engaged in global society from the first century to present time. So nowadays, global history is really popular, and then after globalization, and then there's a lot of issues are coming out, and try to pick, the scholars and try to pick one topic like migration and like globalization and all what is the environmental issues and all kind of stuff, and then they try to explore the topic through the history. That's the kind of example of a global history. It's not a world history like from the China, from the India, and not like that. So we don't study individual countries' history, but they try to pick up the one topic. Now this is really, really like issues, right? Discrimination. Like last week, almost a year ago, and then what happened in this society, and then nowadays it's targeting at Asian Americans, and then that kind of racial issues and discrimination issues, and then they pick up the one of the topic issues and then try to explore in the history, try to explain. That is global history. So in this class, I try to understand how Christianity is expanded through the migration. So that the people come and go in the process. Sometimes there is no any influence or any impact on society or the country, but a lot of times people come and then give a lot of impact on the society, right? That's why kind of history is formed, right? So this time, I'm gonna pick the kind of the migration issue. So I try to see what happened in history of the Christianity. So how impact society and countries kind of stuff. So so courses like this. So maybe you can understand some context of the kind of certain period, and then what happened, what people is coming and what people is going out, and then what is the kind of, who was the kind of, try to deliver the message, message of the Christianity, and then what they do, kind of stuff. And then we're gonna learn, through this class, you're gonna learn through this one, in this class, right? And this course also guides students to learn about how Christianity has been changed in history. We don't know the Christian. Maybe you are Christian and before you took some class about early Christianity, it's totally different from now, right? And then we can see in the beginning, after Jesus Christ died, and how Christianity is formed, and then how it's developed in history. You can learn how how Christianity has kind of changed and developed in history. So the main character, character of who work with other countries and who delivered the message, message was missionaries. We call them missionaries, and then we can understand the missionaries or evangelists' life and works lead us to learn practical knowledge or insight, examining the current missions and thinking about the future missions. So, maybe it's strange, boring for you guys if you are not a Christian, but still, try to stick to me and follow me, and then if you have a question, and then just let me know, okay? So basically, we're gonna kind of explore how Christianity is expanded, through whom, how impact on the society, right? It's kind of people's moving and reach out to people and then try to share the Christianity, and then what? We can see how society is changing, but we cannot see the detail, but we can see how kind of the society changed, kind of a glimpse of the whole world. So this course object is to understand how Christianity has spread in the world, into the world, and to understand how the missions has been done in history. So you can understand a lot of things through history. So sometimes there is a pure motivation, and sometimes a political kind of a power involved, and economies of regions involved, and then it's not sometimes there is no pure motivation. So try to kind of conquer the countries and exploit the countries, but kind of Christianity is involved in. So it's a really sad story about to the other religions in history. You can see that one. And to learn missions strategy from the review missionary work and life, and then long time ago, the missionaries who try to go to other country, go to people, and then what about their attitude of our mission? How they got involved in missions? But nowadays it's kind of different. Maybe they have the same spirit, similar strategy, but still different. So we can see that one. What about the textbook? I'm gonna use two textbooks. So I don't know whether you guys, and if you can buy and read it, that's fine. But if you can, just try to stick with me, and then you can get out of something from the this class. And then basically, we have two textbooks. One is a Christian Mission and Concise Global History, Edward Smither. And this is my main lecture. based on this textbook. So I'm gonna use his book. So basically, I can kind of summarize and deliver to you guys, and then I can get some reference from others, and then I can share with you. So basically, this is the main textbook, and another one is the History of Christian Missions, and still this is a pretty good book. Little bit, this one is a kind of general, yeah, not the global perspective. Do you know what I'm saying? And then there is no specific topics, and but still how Christianity is kind of developed from the from first centuries. So you can see that one. So it's a pretty good book. Mm. Oh, please. Connection. Okay, let me try to turn my computer again, and let's see. Okay, try to again. Okay, here we go. Okay. Yeah, these are these books are the main books, and then it's a pretty good book. So if you are interested in how Christian missions and then has been going on to the present time, and you can read these books. But there is some two reference books, and then concise history of the Christian world mission, and then another one is Christian mission and how Christianity become a world religion. It might help you guys. So if you have time, if you wanna read, and try to read. Okay, so practical assignment. I don't know whether you have time to do that, but think about it, and try to jot down and try to look up your country. So so how has the mission started and developed in your country? So you guys come from the different countries, and then see how where missionary came to your country, and how they start, and what missionary was doing, and what happened, and then how how did their activities impact on society? So kind of stuff. So who came to your country in the beginning, and who developed the mission, and what activities event are involved in missions? Yeah. How is the current status in your countries in terms of missions? So you can think about it, you can jot down it, and maybe you can Google it, and you can have a lot of information from there online. But that's a practical assignment. So Yeah, course schedule, I try to divide it to 10 weeks. I try to follow this one, but not all the time. So sometimes, yeah, take longer and take shorter, and then anyway. So we're gonna go over kind of here is kind of six periods. One is uh, 100 to 750, and the second period is what is 750 to 1000, 1500, right? 1500, and then third period is early modern church mission is 1500 to 1800, right? And then we can go to jump the great century in the what is for Christianity, what is a Protestant mission is it's really really active, and a lot of missions are developed at the time during the time. So we called the Great Century missions and 18 to 1900, and then next time is another one period of fifth period is 1900 to 2000. So how is kind of world is like that, okay? So how it changes kind of society because affected by the globalization, and then try to see how globalization affected the countries and missions, right? Last period is about it's about present and the majority church. Majority church means that about 2000s, what happened? Usually was who sent the missionary out? The Western countries, right? Western countries sent out, but the late of the 20th century is what? The other country like Asian, Korea and Brazil and Argentina and India, and kind of they are not a Christian country. They don't have a big influence on by the Christians, but still they are sending out from the Africa and Latin America and US Asia, not the Western countries. That we call another word is majority world. Yeah, how they are doing for missions. So we're gonna learn about that one. So nowadays it's kind of Western society is kind of they will lead, they have been leading the missions, but nowadays the majority countries were sending more missionaries than the one is the Western countries. So we're gonna learn about that one. So there is kind of 6 period, and then try to divide 10 weeks. So maybe you can get some idea about understanding about Christianity. Yeah. So while we studying together, and then if you have any questions and interesting, and then just let me know. My name is Christian V. So christian.v@gmail.com. So my phone number is there 562-8187. This one is wrong. 8457, not 7457. 8457. Sorry. So you can ask. You can contact the office, and then usually nowadays too many commercial calls, and then I don't pick up the phone that I didn't know the number. So try to text me first, and I'm one of your classmate, and then can I talk, and then I can respond to you, and then after that, okay, and then you can call me, right? Okay, that's the way that I usually do. So far, we kind of go over the kind of class schedules and textbook and the purpose of this class, and kind of um, description of this class. And any questions? So if you have any questions, and just let me know. Okay. Yeah, look at this. And then what is the global history? It's hard to define in one sentence. I tried to find the definition and Google it, and then there is no clear definition though, right? Yeah, before I told you, and then because of the globalization, the history is not local anymore. It's not a limit, kind of confined to any kind of cities, locals, and countries. Nowadays, and big influence of the globalization is we can see what happened, what's going on in the world, right? And a lot of scholars can involved in what internationally. Nowadays they can talk through the Zoom, right? They don't have to go. And then before the pandemic, and they travel freely, and mobility is better than before. And then they have a big conference in the other countries, and then it's easy to go. But a long time ago, it's hard to kind of so resources are really confined, right, and limited. And then if you want to research about another country's history, and then you got to go, and then it's a lot of time to you need to study. But nowadays it's kind of different, right? And we can use the social media, so like something's happened the other side of the world, and then what? In a minute, and we can know everything, right? Yeah, that's why they try to understand the history in this perspective, and then how can we understand this history? It's not a local anymore; it's global now, right? Something is going on in this world. Then how can we understand the whole together? So long time ago, usually, global history and world history is kind of different though. And then the nation and state is kind of very tight together. And then the history is kind of a container of a society. And then they develop the history and then try to show what kind of society is like that, right? There is no any global kind of connection. So I know, you guys learn about world history, right? When you learn about your history, there is no connection about other countries. Maybe, you know what happened before, but nowadays, it's kind of totally, it's not relevant to us, right? And then, last time, so all the words approaches were who led the academics, Europeans, right? So it's kind of really European thinkings and mind that's kind of perspectives are centered in this study previously, but nowadays global is kind of different scholars from different countries, and they dialogue together, and they try to understand kind of a different way, right? So they try to overcome the European-centered perspective, and then you can see that one happened in the local perspective nowadays, right? Long time ago, you cannot see that one. So, it's not limited to local and national context, but it's a global, right? Global. It's a different world, So, there is three approaches, but I try to explain in my best. But the first is global history. The first approach is do you know a lot of things happened in 20th centuries, right? But we don't know. Some things happened in China, some things in Korea, and some things in Japan, and some things in Brazil, some things in America. But they try to all put together and what is the cause, what happened. They try to understand it. That is one of your approaches. And another approach is the what? Do you know something is kind of happened and what? There is kind of a connection is there because two countries exchange is there. That's why they give and influence and give and take, right? Give and take, yeah. Try to explain it their way. So just think about it, and then between America and China in 20 centuries. They try to, something happened, and then they try to understand what, between what they give and what they take. Kind of a connection is there, right? So first approach is kind of they try to synthesize everything and try to one explain. But second is when it's how can through the give and take and through the process how impact the society and histories, and then they try to explain their work, right? So they think that kind of there is no isolated countries and society anymore, right? That's why the basic assumption is there. So they try to understand the history is kind of behind is kind of everything is kind of entangled, right? By the influence and kind of connections and change exchanges. So they try to explain their way. And then another one is that there is no terminology. And then I read the book and he said that he is kind of a sophisticated approach. There is no any name, but he said there is a kind of one example is there. One scholar is Christopher Hills and worked on the emergence of modern history writing in France and United States and Japan in the 19th centuries. So they try to watch it coming up in the era in France, in United States and Japan. So not just he did not focus on the traditional kind of approach, and then he tried to explain through what happened in 19th centuries, but he did not try the first, just try to get the ones of universal stuff, and then what is a common contributor or common cause, but they didn't say. He didn't want to focus on the right stuff, exchange and connection, but he tried to understand their context, what happened at that time, right? So 19th century in France, and 19th century in America, and 19th centuries in, and what is kind of going on in the world, and what happened, how they kind of influence on the global world, right? So he found that in all three countries and the what, and then behind there is kind of capitalism and imperialism. Imperialism is kind of mingled together, entangled together. It kind of embedded in the all the way bottom. So try to explain in the way, right? So his emphasis on the global conditions made possible shaped the historical narrative emerging the three kind of in settings. It means that because of this one, he analyzed, right, certain centuries, and he analyzed what's going on in these countries, and then in their context. It's not the world context, and then try to explain it. Yeah, that is one of the studies. So they are really focused on a certain period. It's not a all the way like back to the histories. Maybe sometimes they need to go back to how they kind of studied about the slavery, and then just think about racial issues. You gotta go back, right? But try to explain in different, different way, like before. Not that just the things, but think about the social kind of a social context now, right? Yeah, that's a global history. That's why I try to think about it. Yeah, I'm gonna teaching about. Yeah, I'm gonna teach about Christian mission history, and then how I'm gonna teach in global perspective. So that's why nowadays is a big issue is migration, right? And civil war, and then what is a kind of escaping from the dictatorships and whatever, and then they seeking the echelons and a lot of different region, and then people are moving, right? Of impact on society. So I get the idea and then try to find a book, or what kind of a book, what book is kind of help me to understand in the perspective, right? So I chose the book, So first of all, we're gonna kind of explore the missions in the early churches, like 1,000 to 750. No, sorry, not 1,000. It's 100 to 750. People say common era CE or AD after Christ, or they don't like the word, and that's why they CE common era. So before Christ and BC. Now I used to be BC, but nowadays they say versus CB BCE, right? BC before the common era, like that. And just think about how Jesus Christ came and around the 30s and then 30s, and then how he started preaching the kingdom of God. And then after that, Jesus Christ died, and then he tried to express the gospel through over the world, and then he picked some place. Galilee is a Capernaum, right? It's a really important city for the trade route. A lot of people go through the city, and then Jesus Christ kind of keep them in mind, and then a lot of people when they stop by and they want to hear the gospel, and then they go and travel other countries and they're going to talk about it. It's kind of a strategy. That's why geographically Jesus Christ took the city, Capernaum, as a strategic city for his ministry. And then you can see that time a lot of God-feared people, but just think about Gentiles and Jewish. The Jews never get along with what? The Gentiles. They are kind of not chosen people, but they really look down on them and they ignore them. But just the Romans kind of destroy the Babylonians and take over the area, and what happened around the BC, 27, and then but the Romans kind of Gentiles, and they came over the wall and take over the kind of area, and then Israel too, and then they are under, Israel was under the regime of the Romans, right? And then even though they are Gentiles and they hear about the God, not their gods, about the God that Jew people serve and believe, right? And then they accept it, but yeah, they are not Christians, and at the time there is no Christianity in the beginning, and Christianity is formed after Jesus Christ, right? And then we can see a lot of people, like one of the examples, like Cornelius is kind of one of the officers in Rome, and then he came to Jesus Christ and healed what? His servant, right? And then, he was a really nice guy and good guy and helped the Jewish people a lot, and he feared God, but he didn't know about Jesus Christ. And his servant kind of, one of the servant is sick, and then called Jesus and come down and heal his servant. That's a story in the Bible. After Jesus Christ died, and what? Unity came to the Israel and Philip, and was one of the disciples of Philip, and reached to him, and then he read the Old Testament, and he doesn't understand, right? And then the Philip there, and then the Spirit took them, Philip to the eunuch, and then, do you understand what you read? And then he said no, and then he explained, and what? And he accepted Jesus Christ, and then what? He got baptized. It's kind of, there is already started, and then as the Bible said, someday kind of the God's kingdom is God's kind of regime is kind of to the all the people, not just limited to the Israel people, right? And that is kind of already starting, but something has happened in already at the time. Already a lot of Jewish people are kind of spread over around the region area, right? It's not just Israel and it's far away. Then like this. When you read in Acts 2:9-11, a lot of people they want to keep the kind of one of the days, and then they came Pentecost, and they visit what? Their country. And then a lot of people came from the Parthians and Medes and Elamites and Mesopotamia and Judea and Cappadocia. It's a lot of even Asia, and then all the way Asian country to Syria, right now Syria around there, and then Mesopotamia, and then a lot of people scattered, and then they live there, and then they keep the day, and then they visiting the Jerusalem. So already kind of Jewish communities are setting the another countries, right? Under the top of the kind of establishment in the what? In the early century, and then what? And the priests, scribes, and a lot of the rulers of the Israel, and then persecuted what? Christians. And one of his kind of bosses who had the power to do that, and then he's really smart and qualified guy is Saul. And he was on the way to Damascus to persecute and captivate the Christians and bring to the Jerusalem, and then he was on the way to Damascus. Right? Before his persecution, is a lot of people in Jerusalem area is kind of scared. Samaria and Judea, other countries. And then if you read this kind of 11, 19, is a lot of people and then spread all over the region. They are Christians, not the Jewish anymore, right? And there is kind of then diaspora, we call the diaspora and scattered people, and already go there and try to share the gospel with other people. Look at this, and then in that kind of situation, and then Paul had kind of three traveling to preach the gospel, and the one is kind of he willing to go to the emperor of the Rome and then try to defend himself. And actually, his journey is there. So, can you see the kind of route is there? And the flag is in the beginning. He kind of it's Antioch is kind of already kind of and people are persecuted people is kind of spread here and here and here and over there and there. Already there is Antioch, there is a Christian communities there. That's why the name is came from there, right? So they called the people who follow Jesus Christ. That's why they call the Christians. Before that, there is no Christian. People who fled from the persecution and then they go there and then they had a community, church communities here and they send, and then Saul, he on the way to Damascus and then he met Jesus Christ, right? Through the vision and then, he accepted Jesus Christ and then, he was there in the church of Antioch and then sent Paul and Barnabas and to the journey to share the gospel with people. And in the beginning, usually Paul, and he said that God chose him to proclaim the gospel to the Gentiles. But in the beginning, he usually go to a Jewish community in the kind of region, country, other countries is spread, right? And then they go and then they try to explain the gospel. And then another church is kind of expanded all the way here, and you can see the Arcadia and Macedonia, and then this is kind of nowadays Italy, Greece, and Turkey. There is from there, and then he tried to proclaim the gospel to the Gentiles, right? So around this one is around 50s, 60s. Already kind of gospel is kind of all the way region is here, right? It's kind of a limited area. But when Romans take over and then they developed a lot of different things, and one of the things is and look at this kind of Roman regions, and the whole this yellow area is kind of Romans, and they control this area, right? And there is a peace. Have you heard of Pax Romans? Peace, Roman? And there is no kind of it's a Roman is a power and laws and everything is controlled, and there is a peace, right? So there is no problem to share the gospel in the beginning. They use the kind of law is really powerful, and they can travel safely like before, and it's unlikely before, and then so easily they can reach out to the other people. They have a really nice road and transportation. That helped to go faster, safely, right? This is a kind of you can see that the white lines is there, and then how their kind of transport network is kind of formed, right? It's not they can go to They can go to sea and they can go to land.
Not very well, no. I get around pretty well.
It's really well prepared, and then Christianity is kind of it's easy to kind of go to other countries and then use these networks, road networks and transportation, and then kind of the Christianity spread fast, right? Fast. At the time, even though kind of Romans regime, ordinary people, the common language is kind of Greek. So that's why if you wanna become a Roman citizen, you gotta learn the Latin. You should know the Latin. Yeah. So common language is for Roman people, the Greek, right? And then that's why still they acknowledge the Greek, but still common language was the common language was Greek, and then at that time, they are talking the gospel in Greek and Aram language, so it's still popular, right? And then it's easy to deliver the message. That's why in the beginning, kind of Christianity is kind of only 100 period, and then getting bigger and bigger and bigger.